Ready?
Okay.
It is now 6 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Wytheville Planning Commission meeting Thursday, September 11th, 2025. The second item on the agenda is establishment of quorum. I believe we have that. The third item on the agenda is the approval of agenda, which requires a motion and a roll call.
Move it be approved. Second.
And a roll call vote. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Or nay? Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. With you first, George. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Vicker, aye.
Keith Jones, aye.
Patterson, aye.
Schmidt, aye.
Holmes, aye.
Litton, aye.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is the consent agenda, which is the minutes of the regular meeting of August 14th, 2025. Requires a motion and an all in favor vote.
So move. Be approved.
Second.
All in favor vote.
Aye.
Aye. Next thing on the agenda is the public hearings. Public hearing to consider the request of Roger Wyatt for the rezoning of property located at 405 North 4th Street, tax map parcel number 41A-1-27-8 from an R Zone 2 residential to B2 business. And I think we have a staff presentation by Assistant Town Manager, Director of Planning, Elaine Holston.
Thank you, and welcome everyone who's in attendance this evening. In your packet, you have quite a bit of information and some photographs about the site that we will be discussing tonight. The current zone district is R2, and the proposal is to rezone it to B2. I'm going to hit some of the highlights in the staff report, and then after that, you will open the public hearing. And if at any time you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those for you. So in essence, you'll see in your staff report that this property has already had 2 special exception permits granted to it. The first was in 2012 to allow the business use at this site, and then the second one was for another sign, the primary sign that you see in front of the structure today. Mr. Wyatt contacted me because he would like to put an electronic message board sign on the face of the wall. And so we discussed the options for that, and we came up with the decision that now might just be a great time to go ahead and rezone this. This property, the business has been operating successfully and safely at this property for about 12, 13 years now, so it's proven that it is a good site for business. It has good parking access to West Spiller Street, and it's got business uses pretty much on 3 sides of it. So for that reason, staff would like to recommend that we do rezone this to B2. If you have any questions for me, again, I'm happy to answer those, but at this time, I don't have anything else to add.
Well, is not the future zoning of 4th Avenue to business?
It is. On the future land use map, business is shown as the future land use.
Okay.
This would fall in that.
We do, certainly.
How long has it been on the future land use map? And how long, I mean, does it stay on there until it's deemed appropriate to actually do the rezoning?
So the future land use map is sort of a guiding document. It's not that if it's on the future land use map, you have to rezone all those properties. The future land use map, as far as I know, was drafted in 2013 when you did your last comprehensive plan. And this year we are going to begin work on our comprehensive plan again. So we will be revisiting the future land use map.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a business literally around the corner that has an electronic sign already?
There's several places along that corridor that have electronic signs. There is I believe, a real estate business, which is on the other side of the, what used to be the IGA, the 4th Street Market. And I think there might be one further up as well.
Have you had any response from any of the neighbors at all on any negative, positive, nothing?
No, we've had no comments received.
Okay. And the sign that's proposed, that's just for the side of Spiller Street.
Correct. If you look in the packet, there's an image of this proposed sign at the very end. So let's see if I can get you a page number. Page 17 in your packet is a sort of an artist rendering of what that sign would look like on the wall of that building.
But if it is changed to B2, does the signage change in size that they're allowed to have?
This, I did review the sign section, and this would be an allowed sign for B2.
And I'm saying the existing sign that's there, is there any chance that that could get any larger at all or not?
No, he will be at his maximum allotment for
I see.
signs.
Okay. Anything else?
The applicant here,
He is.
Wyatt, yes. I'm just curious, is that an LED sign? Is that what they put up?
It is, yes, sir.
And they're weatherproof and everything?
Hope so.
Yeah.
There's no other comments, then I'd like to open up the public hearing to receive comments regarding the request of Mr. Roger Wyatt. If you have any comments there, Mr. Wyatt, you can come forward. If you don't, then I'll close that part of the public hearing and move on to the next agenda. Next agenda is recommendation to Town Council. The consideration by the Planning Commission to make a recommendation to the Town Council to approve, deny the request of Mr. Roger Wyatt for rezoning of property located at 405 North 4th Street, tax map parcel number 41A-1-27-8 from R2 residential to B2 business as presented. Requires a motion and a roll call vote.
I move to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Roll call vote starting with George.
Whitaker, aye.
Kay Jones, aye.
Addison,
Schmidt, aye.
Jones, aye.
Litton, aye.
So at this time, I'd like to close that and move on to the next public hearing. Is that correct, Brandy? Okay. Next public hearing is the public hearing to consider the request of Kenny Powers for a special exception permit to allow a homestay use without the host being present and to allow a use for a wholesale coffee bean roastery for the property located at 640 and 650 West Lee Highway, tax map parcel number 41A-3-7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 in a B2 business zoning district. Again, a staff presentation by Elaine Holston.
Okay, thank you. So in your packet, beginning on page 22 is this item. And again, I put quite a bit of information and photos for you to see the site. Just a quick overview. Mr. Powers recently purchased the building, and he has been fixing the exterior. He did begin on one side of the interior, making it an apartment that hopefully, if this application is approved, he would like to have a homestay use without a host present on that one side of the building. On the other side of the building, he would like to roast coffee beans and be a wholesale distributor of them. I think from what I understand, this was a hobby that he would like to take to the next level. And he is not here tonight because he is out of the country. But I did work with him on the staff report and the information that's in there. In essence, the site is already zoned B2, but when you look at the list of allowed uses, neither of those uses are allowed or shown in that zone district. So to make this a clean application, I felt it was best to bring this as a special exception use permit for your consideration. If you look at the adjoining properties, they're all business in nature. To the rear of the property, if you look at the zoning map, you'll see that there is some R1, but it's quite a ways away and it's separated by a wooded hillside. So I do not feel that either of those uses will have an impact to the surrounding properties. And we did not receive any comments for this application. So if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you.
I do have a question, Elaine. Is there a firewall between these two businesses or properties, whatever? 'Cause if
There
you-
will be, yes.
There
He
will
is he is applying for a building permit to do he's renovating the side where the roastery will occur, and as part of that permit, he will be required to do the
So
firewall.
is it split exactly in half? Is that how it's going to work? Or is there a front and a back side that,
It's split in the middle, sort of, but that's
As you
where the
look at the building?
firewall will be, yes.
okay,
And there's separate doors for each side.
okay,
And interestingly enough, each side of the building already has its own address.
okay. Because I'm not sure how that, I guess, are there 2 meters on one and either side of this property?
There will be the same owner, and
Uh-huh.
so I'm not sure how he's going to arrange on the metering for either water or
I'm just
power.
curious to know how that firewall will work with the electrical, because obviously it passes from one side to the next, unless there's 2 separate meters. So, I mean, I know that's going to be the building official to look at that, but I think that's the only concern that I would have with something
Okay.
like that.
All right.
Ms. Holton, since there's two uses, a wholesale roastery and a homestay, what if one ceases to exist and we're under one special exception? How
I
would
think
we-
it would be fine, and you have special exception permits that cease to exist quite often. So a lot of times people will go in with a business idea and then they decide they don't want to continue that. Whichever use is still in existence will still be held by its permit, but the other use just wouldn't be active. And if your recommendation is for one use and not the other, you can do that as well. If you have a particular feeling about one use, not wanting to recommend that, that's well within your rights to do that recommendation.
What makes the bean roastery not compliant with B2? Is that just where it's wholesale? Is that what puts it over into possibly industrial?
Well, as you recall, our zoning ordinance is an inclusive ordinance, which means that the uses should all be listed. And there just wasn't an existing use that dealt with the processing of beans and or any type of food in a raw nature to convert it to something else. Sometimes those uses on a larger scale would be more conducive for industrial. But I think with his small batch operation, I don't know that we would require him to go to an industrial zone district for this.
No, I mean, it seems like it'd be more fitting for B2 on the scale that the building would allow, so.
Right. Yeah, I really wish that the use was listed, but as you
Yeah.
know, it's hard to list every single thing
Yeah.
that you can ever think of. But he was agreeable to going through the process, and then this way his business is protected.
Right. I'm glad to see it looking better than it, I mean, I've always known it just to be a somewhat abandoned looking building, so I drove by a week or two ago and looks like he's putting a whole new facade on it, so.
Which
looks
is
a lot-
good.
Looks a lot
Yeah.
better, so.
Absolutely.
Parking will not be an issue. How many parking spaces for the homestay?
So
As
in
well.
the staff report, I think the anticipated number of vehicles on the site at any time would be less than 5, but more realistically, it's probably going to be more like 3. So we would reserve 2 spaces for the homestay use, which is in line with a 1-bedroom apartment. And then on the other side, it's just going to be him there running this roastery. So I don't anticipate there'll be a large need for parking on the site.
So it will be a 1-bedroom unit?
I believe that's correct, yes.
And we didn't have anybody in the residential area up on Ridge complain?
No.
No one came forward?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think the residential is far enough back there, so I don't think it shouldn't be.
Yeah, you got wooded area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? No? At this stage, I'd like to open up the public hearing to receive comments regarding the request for Kenny Powers. Is there anyone like to voice their opinion on this? So I'd like to close that public hearing and move to the next agenda. The next thing on the agenda is the recommendation to Town Council continued for the consideration by the Planning Commission to make a recommendation to the Town Council to approve, deny the request of Kenny Powers for a special exception permit to allow a homestay use without the host being present and to allow a use for a wholesale coffee bean roastery for the property located at 640 and 650 West Lee Highway, tax map parcel number 41A-3-7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14 in a B2 business zoning district as presented, and it requires a motion and a roll call.
Can I ask one more question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Before we have that
Yes, ma'am.
vote. Ms. Holton, what about signage for this wholesale business?
At this,
Is he requested any kind of signage?
he has not, and I believe I asked him about
That's a
that,
good
and he
question.
said he had no plans at this time for a sign.
Okay.
But
Sorry, I didn't.
that's okay. At such time that he does request a sign, the sign standards for B2 would be used.
You can proceed.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
I
Chairman,
didn't mean to.
thank
I
you.
didn't mean to rush it. I'm sorry.
Well, I just thought of
No,
it.
it's a very good question for sure. So again, it just requires a motion and a roll call.
I'll move that we approve the request of Kenny Powers. Special exception.
It just needs a roll call. George
A. Jones, aye.
Patterson, aye.
Schmidt, aye.
Jones, aye.
Litton,
He understands that the special exception permit is only good for him. He sells it to somebody else, special exception permit's not good, right?
That is not correct, actually. We did a legal review on that back when our last town attorney was here, and this special use exception permit is with the actual tax map number, not the owner.
Okay.
I think that's the way they used to do them, was for the owner and then
Yeah.
switched it, so,
We hadn't before, but
right.
Okay, next thing on, do I need to close that or is it it's already done? It's done, okay. Next on the agenda is citizens period. Anyone who'd like to come to the podium and talk? I think I've got Jamie White first, but I think he just left, so it's Miss Clay.
Hi there, I'm Denise Clay. I'm at 545 Tremo Drive here in Wytheville, and I appreciate this time. After listening to the discussion regarding camping and tents at the last meeting, my husband and I discussed our thoughts, and I was hoping that you would consider if someone's going to camp on their private property, obviously I don't know if they would have to file for a permit, but they could prove they were the owner should the police have to be called. But for someone that's not the owner, we would like you to consider having the owner request the permit and have whomever camping have that permit in place. Therefore, the police would actually have the ability to know whether it was a lawful camping or not. And I guess that would also work if it was for the public property. Whoever's going to camp would have to also have on person they have gotten permission from the town. And that's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I also have on the list as well, Luthra Hatmaker. No, okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Well, at this stage, I'd like to close the citizens period, unless there's someone else. Nope, I'll close that. And then we move on to next item on the agenda is other businesses. Planning Department updates by Assistant Town Manager, Director of Planning, Elaine Holston.
Okay, great. Just a few updates for you. We did schedule the joint meeting with the town council that you should have received your invitation this morning from Brandy. If you did not, please let her know, but it will be on September the 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the meeting center. And so I will be there, Brandy will be there, and my hope is that many of you will also be able to be there, and looking forward to the conversation, and hopefully we can work together to chart the future for either the UDO or the zoning ordinance, whichever path we go on here. But anyhow, if you have any questions, I can answer them.
What day is that, Elaine? Do you know?
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. Okay.
What's the date again?
The 25th.
6 to 8.
Okay, and moving right along, kind of getting back to the long-term camping topic. At the last meeting, we went over some ideas, and I just wanted to encourage you, if you have any more ideas on that, I think right now where we're at is showing it as an excluded use for long-term camping, which is, I think we were at about 14 days, if I remember correctly. And then we can pick up that topic again at our next meeting and just go through the ideas. But if you have anything you want to share for the draft language, you can just send it to me, and I can include that in that presentation. And then lastly, just a quick update on the comprehensive plan. We did release a RFP last week for consulting services with the comp plan. I believe those proposals will be coming in November. And then when they do, I will bring an update to you all on what firms are interested and the steps for picking them. Do you guys want to be a part of the selection process for picking the consultant, or would you rather staff handle that?
Staff deal with it,
Okay.
my opinion.
All right. So we'll continue to give you updates, but right now the proposed schedule is for us to begin the comprehensive plan in December. Okay. And that's all that I have.
Any other comments?
Well, I was just wondering where John was, but I find out that you all have moved him. He's no longer the planning director.
So that was not my decision. That decision.
I'm not saying it was your decision. I'm just saying that's what I understand.
Yes. So John is now the grants administrator for the town, and he's writing grants and managing grants and things of that nature.
Well, personally, I'm sorry to see that he was moved.
I think a lot of us feel the same way, John. And I think we've all voiced our opinion on that as well with him being moved. In a couple of other meetings, I think we brought it up. So, I mean, I agree with you, but, we have to move on. And I'm looking forward to this meeting that we're going to have in September. I think it'll be a good meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that, Ms. Clay brings up a good point with the tents. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I think that's a very valid point with getting permits for tents as well. So I think we'll look at that for sure.
Okay.
Any other questions? No. Meeting adjourned.